Our medical device work represents about 2/3 of our revenue. The rest is made up primarily by biopharmaceutical work that we do, and then a few percentage points of revenue for other types of work like lab equipment and things of that nature. Within the medical device work that we do, not surprisingly, Class 2 and Class 3 products account for the bulk of the translation work that we do. They differ in a couple of ways. First and foremost, it involves often different types of work. So in medical device work, we will see a lot of operating manuals, user instructions, that type of work. We see that a lot less in the pharmaceutical space. On the other hand, pharmaceutical work often includes clinical research. We do a lot of that type of work, which we don't see a lot of in the medical device space. What's interesting about that too is that presents different challenges for the linguists doing the work. Pharmaceutical work, drug-related work is very heavy on health information, scientific information, drug-related facts. It's really about the people and involves a fairly high degree, requires a fairly high degree of medical know-how. Medical device work, on the other hand, is about things, equipment, instruments, systems, things of that nature, and is much more technical in nature and requires also, as a result, a little bit less medical know-how and more just sort of technical acumen. What we hear a lot of is, we need it faster, we need it faster, we need it faster. That's really what it boils down to, and that manifests itself in a few different ways. A lot of clients are talking to us about in-country reviews, the boogeyman of the medical device translation space. How do we eliminate it? How do we streamline it? Can you help us manage it better, get more out of it? So we have a lot of conversations with our clients about that. And that same spirit also extends to other areas of the medical device translation process. Companies, our clients, are looking at streamlining their processes, eliminating steps where that's possible, collapsing schedules just by any means that are available to them. Many of our clients weren't that affected by it. Every one of our clients was a little bit affected, certainly. The ones that were most affected were the ones that have software to either control or program their devices. Under the updated MDD, software is now considered part of the medical device and needs to be translated and localized. For many of our clients that have software was a new thing. So that required more thinking, more planning, more coordination, and more time and budget dollars as well. Fundamentally, software translation equals software translation equals software translation. It's the same thing. There are, however, some big differences as well. Because medical device companies are still relatively new to software translation and software localization, they're not as experienced yet with regards to processes and tools and budgeting for that work. So we've seen a big demand for help with that, in setting up appropriate processes, advice on what tools to use, how to integrate it also into their documentation translation processes. So it's been a learning experience all around. Yes, we have seen a pretty significant uptick in demand for translations around combination products. And the main challenge actually ties back to a point I talked about earlier, which is the linguistic team working on those translations and the requirements, the know-how that's needed, the expertise that needs to be in place amongst those linguists. I talked a little bit earlier about different medical know-how, levels of medical know-how that's required. Things versus people. When you're talking about translating documentation for combination products, really both is needed. Now, those translators are relatively hard to find. It's a very unique skill set that must be present. So we're seeing an uptick in that work, and we're investing a lot of time and resources in helping our translator partners get comfortable with both of those worlds.